Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. For the last 2 years, major city elections in the city of Flint have been marked by embarrassing errors by our city clerk, Inez Brown. Sometimes a result of carelessness, others by refusing to do her constitutional duty. 2 years ago, not keeping up with the new filing deadlines almost led to one of the candidates being on the ballot, only one, and this required action by the state legislature to avoid this chaos. This led to Ms. Brown being placed on probation. This year has been marked by Ms. Brown refusing to make decisions she is required to make, leading the courts to do her job for her. In the case of the mayor's race, she allowed a candidate, Scott Kincaid, to file for mayor, putting him on the ballot twice for an incompatible office, which is against the state law. A judge ruled that to be the case some weeks later. I won't go into the judge's solution here, but it is still being litigated in the Court of Appeals. It's worth noting that Ms. Brown had no part in this case. It was the county clerk over there that asked for the court to clarify this ballot because Ms. Brown refused to do her job once again. Last week, as you will hear from Ms. Burns in a minute, a circuit court judge had ordered Ms. Brown to do her job once again. It may be too late to fix the damage that Ms. Brown has already done on this ballot to this election, but the City Council should not follow Ms. Brown's poor example by refusing to do their job. The City of Flint deserves the confidence of knowing that however flawed this ballot is and the process has been, that someone competent and diligent and who cares for the law is in charge of this election. This is a cornerstone of our democracy. Without that confidence, elections may become a mockery and the rule of law can be seen as an option. So today we are calling on all of the City Council to give the citizens of Flint that confidence by finally relieving Ms. Inez Brown from her position as a clerk and elevating one of the competent city employees in their office to supervise the upcoming election. In tonight's council meeting, both Ms. Burns and myself will address the council for public comment and demand they take immediate action. Enough is enough. And now, before we take questions, I'd like to introduce Ms. Tanya Burns, who was kept off the City Council ballot by Ms. Brown's refusing to do her job once again. I'd like to take this opportunity to say that if the courts cannot fix the 6th Ward ballot, that the people of the 6th Ward should write her in to be their next City Council member. Thank you.
Ms. Burns, a little bit over this way for me, if that's possible. I know that. I know we're not on concrete right now.
No,
so.
we're not, and I'm height challenged. First of all, thank you everyone for coming. This to me has been a serious issue. I started this back in May when I was running for 6th Ward City Council. I believe in truthfulness and transparency, and I believe that it is up to our city government to do their job. I didn't ask for anything extraordinary, but simply to follow the rules. Nothing more, nothing less. We had a candidate that was running. I contacted our 6th Ward Council, which is Mr. Herbert Winfrey. He had knowledge of this. I contacted our city clerk, and she had knowledge of it too. Voter's card was returned. There were many errors which were made. I submitted finally a letter on July the 10th to the clerk's office in recognition to the Block Club members who actually had knowledge and wanted to know what was going on. How is a candidate allowed to run in a ward which they do not live in? I didn't have an answer for that. I was told to contact the Lansing Board of Elections, and I did so. I followed all the proper steps. Only thing that I'm asking is that everyone else followed the proper steps because there are ordinances and guidelines to which we all have to follow. For that, I have reached out and talked to people. I had to get an attorney. I had to take on the burden to do what is right. It's not my responsibility when someone has a job and is appointed to do that. We need to make sure that each and every person is served. I am a member of the 6th Ward. I was not served. Justice was not given to me. I have been crucified. I have been dragged through the mud. People have took my name, which literally, and turned it inside out. That was not something that I deserved. Not at all. This all could have been rectified by simply making the correct steps to do what was right. Double check when something's brought to you. Please take a look at it. Take a look at it. If it's worthy, and it was worthy. To date, I was told it's still in the legal office. Now we're getting stalling tactics. My attorney, Trishelle Young, is dealing with that. She's getting motions filed that they weren't made aware of it. This isn't true. We need truthfulness and transparency. We've already suffered from the water crisis. That's something that's serious. We don't need one more person to be silent. People were silent on the water crisis. It took lives. So I am going to use my voice. I am going to speak out for the people, because that's what we're supposed to do. We changed administrations because we wanted someone to speak out, to tell the truth, to speak for the people. That's what I'm doing. And I was burdened and treated misfairly and unkindly because I spoke out. I spoke out for the people. No one spoke out and stood up for me. I would do it again and again, because we need the people to understand we've got to change things. We cannot afford another water crisis when people have kept their voices silent.